Today we're talking about who will win the Hodge Trophy. The 2019 NCAA Tournament is almost here. This is Fanco Wrestling, and this channel is all about wrestling, college wrestling, and wrestling lifestyle. My name is Josiah, and this is Brendan. So let's get into today's discussion about who will win the Hodge Trophy. I think we can both agree that there are two main choices. Now, Brendan and I haven't talked about who we think will win before, but I think there are two main choices. Now, right now, the top 10 contenders on this list are Gable Stevenson, Sebastian Rivera, Anthony Ashnault, Steven Miocic, Yanni, Miles Martin, Mark Hall, Chenzo, Jason Nolf, and Bo Nickal. So what the Hodge is, if you're new to wrestling or you're just not sure what the heck the Hodge Trophy is, it's essentially the MVP of the year. It's the Heisman Trophy of wrestling, and we're talking about who we think will win. So who are, if you had to say your top two choices, who would those choices be?
Okay, so, my number one choice, it sounds a little bit cliche, but in my opinion, he's the best college wrestler in the country. He goes to Penn State University, and his name is Jason Nolf.
Okay.
This guy, he just dominates match after match. He makes crazy moves look easy. Mm-hmm. He's constantly, recreating new moves that we've never seen before. He's so much fun to watch. And the reason I think he's number one for me is because just how much better he is than number 2, number 3, number 4. Mm-hmm. And my number 2, I'd have to say, again, from Penn State, Bo Nickal.
Yeah. I have to agree with you there. I mean, listen, Nolf and Nickal, more than anybody else, they're on another level. They really are. They're both seniors. They both kind of, I don't want to say they've been in the shadows of Zane over the last couple of years, but Zane has, last year I wouldn't actually say he was the clear choice. I may have given it to Bo,
right,
or Nolf, because they've both dominated year after year. I mean, they haven't had a loss in a couple of years. They both have, I think, 2 losses, maybe.
I think so.
On the record. So, some interesting facts, actually, about Nolf. Right now, his closest match this year is 6 points. That's been his closest deficit.
Wow.
Or, not deficit, but point differential.
Yeah.
And that was against number 2, Berger. And then, actually, in the Michigan match, it was also a 6-point deficit. He's scored over 94 points this season for him. Only 30 against, and that could also be him letting guys up.
Yep.
He's had 32 takedowns and has had, I think, 3 against him, which is just insane to think about.
In the Division 1.
In Division 1,
How good
right?
those kids are. And 6 points against the number 2 kid. I mean, that's crazy.
It is. And then he's had 11 pins, no take falls, and 2 major decisions. Mm-hmm. And then opposite is Nickal, and of course his closest match is actually within 2 points to number 11 Schultz, which is a little bit closer than you'd think.
Yeah.
He actually has 12 pins at this point with his pin against Michigan, and then he's scored 43 points and he's had 13 points against him. But he's not even wrestled 20 minutes total this year.
That's what I was going to say. The thing about those two as well is, if you look at their bonus points compared to anyone else in the country, I mean, Bo Nickal is a pinner. Last year in the national tournament, he pinned Miles Martin from Ohio State, the number 2 guy in the country, number 1 in the country this year at a different weight. But those guys, they can pin, tech, major, the best kids in the country. And when the time comes at nationals, they really show out and they show that they are just the best in the country.
They are the best. And so it's going to be tough for the committee to decide, between those two,
right.
Assuming that they both win a national championship, I think they both have extremely high shots.
I think so as well.
They've showed dominance this year as well. So in the bonus points actually is really what goes into the Hodge Trophy. But getting into a little bit separate of a discussion is who is that third place? So who is the third person that, let's say Nolf gets hurt or he loses, knock on wood, hopefully he does not, and same with Nickal.
Right.
Let's say for some crazy reason that they don't win NCAAs this year, who is that third spot? Is it Sebastian Rivera? Is it a Mark Hall? Is it Gable Stevenson? Who is your number 3 choice if Nolf or Nickal aren't in there?
So my number 3 choice would have to be, again from Penn State, Mark Hall.
Okay.
Earlier this year, he wrestled Valencia, and Valencia prior to the season would probably be my number 3. But since Mark Hall took the cake on that match, I'd have to say Mark Hall. Again, he's a dominant wrestler, and he just proved himself match after match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're right. With that Valencia match, that really puts him up there. And listen, it's going to be tough for Valencia or Hall to win a national championship against each other. Those two, they have history, so it's going to be tough. But I think my choice is actually a bit different. It's not Chenzo, who you may have thought I was going to go with. It's not Mark Hall. I'm thinking it may be Yanni.
Oh, Yanni,
He tough kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
He hasn't been... I don't think there's been much attention towards Yanni this season.
He's been flying under the radar.
He has been really flying under the radar. But he's still undefeated.
Yeah, he is.
He's 13-0 at this point. He hasn't lost. He has 5 pins. He's not on that Nolf or Nickal pin level,
right?
Which is fine.
The dominance may not quite be there against the top kids
right. But he's still a winner.
Yeah,
he still, I think, has a good shot of winning a national title.
Absolutely, that kid finds a way to win match after match. Last year in the national tournament, he was hurt. He was hurt bad, and he still pulled away with it. And this year, Meredith has graduated, and
well, that's the thing is, he had that big foe. He had Meredith as his foe last year. That it was always making storylines. On who's going to beat who. I don't think there really is that much of competition for him at 41. I mean, listen, they're great guys at 41. They're great guys at every weight.
Yeah.
But I just, that's who my choice is.
Yeah, so. That's a good choice, Yeah. I may actually have to put him at 4 now. I had a Valencia. And come to think of it,
another outside choice that's kind of interesting to think about is Gable Stevenson, and it's not somebody that you usually think about in the Hodge contender is a heavyweight. Usually not. Usually they're not
very dominant. A lot of the matches are usually close.
I mean Snyder. Yeah, he's a dominant guy.
Yeah,
he's a beast. And he was in talks last year. He was.
Yeah.
But Gable Stevenson, he's wrestled 24 matches this year so far, which is more than most wrestlers have. And, I mean, he's...
undefeated.
He's undefeated, 24-0, hasn't lost as a freshman. And he has 4 pins, actually. So,
okay.
Maybe it's not complete dominance as far as pins.
Yeah.
But he shows dominance on the mat.
I'll tell you what, he has beaten some good kids too as well. He's beaten Derek White from Oklahoma State handedly.
Yes.
I wish I would have. Sam Stoll from Iowa. Minnesota was wrestling Iowa, and Sam Stoll didn't weigh in and didn't wrestle. I wish he would have, because it would have really shown 1 versus 2. Whereas Stevenson, we know he's really good. I kind of wish they would have wrestled, but he still has proven himself against some really good wrestlers.
Yes.
And I'm excited about seeing him at the national tournament. That guy is a wrecking ball.
Yes, he is. So we are so excited for the 2019 national tournament coming up in March. And these are our picks for the Hodge. We really think it's going to be Nolf or Nickal. And we want to know, what do you guys think about who's going to win the Hodge? Who is your number 1 choice? And is it Nolf? Is it Nickal? That's a tough battle in itself. And if you're interested in more wrestling content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we'll be throwing out wrestling content for you all the time. Thanks for watching.